Hey, 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 great day, great day, great day. This is Ilona Sanders. Thank you for joining Spiritual Success TV Live, where we are lighting the way to help you create a clear path forward. I am dedicated to delivering personal and spiritual empowerment that will be a true catalyst for transformation within your life. So with that being said, why don't you go ahead and take this opportunity and tell someone we are here, we are live. Go ahead and tag your friends. Let them know that Spiritual Success TV is live. So with that being said, let's bring our hearts and our mind together and let's just connect into this gracious, precious moment that we have been given this morning. Good morning, Debbie. Thanks for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you very soon. Let's just connect in together. Let's be so thankful and so grateful for this awesome moment that we have been given today to connect in, to get a fresh download so that you will be able to live your life strengthened, empowered, and victorious. All right. So we've been talking the last few weeks about how it's really time to wake up. It's really time to wake up. You know, the big book tells us that it's high time to wake up out of sleep. For now is your freedom, your salvation, your deliverance is nearer than it's ever been before. And so we want to really allow ourselves to wake up in the best possible way. And what are we talking about when we say that? We don't want the very thing that was designed to free us, designed to liberate us, to be the very thing that binds us, to be the very thing that keeps us in fear. Good morning, Luana. Thanks for joining. We don't want the very thing that should be designed for our liberation, for our freedom, for our transformation, for our joy and our peace to turn around and be the very thing that binds your life. So we started talking the last couple of weeks, number one, about how to release that sinner mentality, that sinner complex, that something is wrong with you, that you know you're not quite right. Because listen, this is my whole point. And I want you to journey with me. Let me back up and say it like this. We are in an age of divine awakening. Everyone on the planet is waking up, whether you saved or unsaved. Everyone is getting a sense of divine self, a sense of something better, something greater that they should be living in their lives. And when I said this to you, I want you to understand very well. Good morning, Margot. Thanks for joining. I said this to you a couple of years ago, for those of you that's been following me, that we have to be in what I call a Hebrews 6 movement. As you begin to evolve, as you begin to wake up, the reason why I am here every week at this hour, I know that this is a church hour. Sorry, that was my dryer going off. I know that this is a church hour, but I am here not so much for the people that are happy and secure and have a place that they can go on Sunday morning. I'm really here for those of you that have waken up to a point that you don't want to go to church. You refuse to do church. You don't want nothing to do with church, but you're not done with God. Good morning, Lisa. Thanks for joining. You're not done with your understanding of what you call God or what you understand God to be. Good morning, Debbie. Thanks for joining. That's why I'm here every week. I'm here to bridge that gap. I'm here to light the way so that you can rest within your divine self, within your God self, within your higher nature, whatever you want to call it, and trust your divine guidance. Trust it. Good morning, Shauna. Thanks for joining. That's why I'm here. I'm here to say to you, I understand that not everything is the way that you thought it was. Not everything is the way you even believed it was. Not everything is even the way that they told you it was. They, who are they? Speaking of those who are in authority over your life, I want us to really step out of that prison of fear. where you're so afraid of everything. You're so afraid. And so, you know, when I'm on this platform, I try to gauge myself as to what I say. The old folks would say, seasoning your words with salt. Because I'm here to be a help. I'm here to be a catalyst to bring true transformation in your life. And so what I want to say to you today as we go further, understanding how it's time for you to wake up. So we have to be in the Hebrews 6 movement where it's time to leave the principles of doctrine and go on to maturity, go on to perfection. If you are still allowing yourself to be weighed down and boxed in, to be boxed in according to religious doctrine that you know no longer serve you. When I say religious doctrine, we are talking about the rules and the regulations that men created because they wanted to enforce a certain type of control. But as you begin to wake up and you recognize, number one, a lot of those rules, first of all, have nothing to do with your relationship to the divine. Good morning, Becky. Thanks for joining this morning. It has nothing to do with your connection and your relationship to the divine. So let me say it like this just to help you to get out of that whole box and that whole trap of fear. If you travel with me for a moment, if you allow yourself, please allow yourself to think, why did God give us the ability to think if rules and regulation were going to tell us, line up, fall in line, be a robot, do what everybody do, say what everybody say, dress like everybody dress, but you're not allowed to think a critical thought for yourself. And then when we had questions, we were told not to have questions, not to question God. You know, all of that was a way of keeping control, right? So I want you to follow me for a minute. Good morning, Lucina. Thanks for joining. I want you to stay with me. Follow me for a moment. Don't become fearful. See, we have been so well trained and so well programmed that when we hear certain words, we shut down, we become fearful. But God is not a God of bondage. He's a God of liberation. He's a God of freedom. And if the God that you are serving is not big enough to understand the creation that was created by his own hand, right? Then something is wrong with that picture. What am I saying? It's time to wake up. So a few weeks ago, we talked about number one. It's time for you to stop living in condemnation, condemning yourself, judging yourself, beating yourself up, always trying to measure and gauge yourself. If you're right, if you're not right, if you're doing it right, if you approve, if you're pleasing God. What I want you guys to do in this season is to slow down enough, tap in enough, and listen and feel and sense when you have approval from God. Because the approval from God may not be everything that somebody designed to keep you small and to keep you in control. So that's number one. I want you to lose that sin complex that something is always wrong with you, that you're a sinner saved by grace, and you always looking at your weaknesses and your shortness and what's wrong with you. But you don't spend enough time looking at what's right about you. Not spending enough time having confidence in the beautiful creation that you are, with all the gifts, the talents, and the abilities, and the uniqueness that is you. We're not taking enough time to focus on that. Good morning, Marcus. Thanks for joining. Right? So I want you guys, I would love to hear from you guys. I want to put this question out today. I want to know, what are some of the major things? You could just share one, you could share two, share as much as you want. I'm here for you. I want to be here to answer your questions. I want to be here to address the concerns that you have on your heart. What is the number one thing that you are fearful of and that you struggle with. And no matter how you try to get away from it, you're still fearful and you're still struggling. Watch this, in terms of, in light of God's approval of you. God's approval of you. All right? So I want you to answer this question in two phases for me. Good morning, Sharice. Thanks for joining. Number one, what is that thing that you continue to fear, that you continue, to be unsure about, first of all, as it relates to God's approval of you? And then number two, as it relates to your approval of yourself. Beloved, there is so much that I want to say to you guys, so much that I want to give to you, so that you can have a greater understanding about how much you are already loved, cared for, and approved of. And I think I want to land on that today, how much you are already approved of. I want to be able to talk to you guys about how confused we have been over the years about who God is and what his expectation of you is, because we were so bound in doctrine. Again, those man-made rules that was designed for control but had nothing to do with your relationship with God, had nothing to do with furthering your relationship with God. What am I getting at? What's the whole reason that I'm going to be going down this road? And I want you to be so honest today. Come on, y'all. Give me some thumbs up. Like this. Come on, like this. This helps other people to find it. Listen, when you guys give a thumbs up, you give a heart. When you interact, right? This helps the algorithm of this software to push this video out to other people, to let more of our friends. Because if you notice, there was a post that went around, and it was a real one, where people were saying, I noticed that the same 20 or 25 people is liking my post, and and nobody else is, but you have like 5, 6, 7, 8, 900, even thousands of people following you. That's because if I make a post, and I'm gonna get back to what I'm saying, if I make a post and it pop up on your timeline, and you don't take the time to like that post or to make a comment on that post or interact with that post, then Facebook's algorithm says that you're not interested in hearing from me. And so it drops you off the list, because I noticed that there's only like a good big handful of people that's getting my posts, that's getting my messages, and some of you are getting it 3 or 4 days after the post was made. That's because there's an algorithm in place. So soon as you come on this live on Sunday morning, thumbs it up, put some hearts in there, say your good mornings, interact with the video, because that helps push it out to other people so they can find it. So that's why people tell you, thumb up the video, like the video, share the video, because it helps other people to find this video as well. All right. So back to what we're talking about, right? There is a liberty and a freedom, guys, that you should be walking in and living in. And your salvation, your deliverance, your freedom was designed for you to live a happy and successful life. But if we be honest about it, the very thing that's designed to liberate us turns out to be the very thing that's binding us, because there's a belief system in place according to certain rules and regulations that's still binding us. Good morning, Lisa. Thanks for joining. All right, so let's get to this. So we want to leave number one, that sin consciousness complex, that I'm just a sinner saved by grace. Something's wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I'm defective, right? Number two, we talked about that fear, just so afraid that you're going to miss it, so afraid that you're going to miss the mark. What I'm trying to get you to do, beloved, is live your life in so much divine alignment, not according so much to religious doctrine, or religious rules, because I'm talking about all the things that don't benefit, all the things that have nothing to do with helping you to grow, but it's keeping you fearful, keeping you in bondage, keeping you small, keeping you afraid to step out, keeping you confused.